Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Beyond the Sewing Room. I'm Diane. So today I thought I'd share a little with you about my latest make. So I did say in a previous video that I was going to be making this pattern. I have made it before. It's McCalls 8177. So it's this gorgeous summer's dress. Now the thing is, when I made this pattern, this occasion I made it in one particular side and I did cut the pattern. And then when I was making this one, it was a completely different size. Now, I thought I'd share a few tips on what I've done to still get the pattern the correct size. It's not for me, it's for my son's girlfriend. Also, there was a couple of things that I knew she didn't like, so a couple of things I've changed, and ways in which I've used a little less fabric because it is quite fabric intensive, and I've managed to get out a smaller amount of fabric also. So all of those things might be useful to you, so I thought I'd share those today. So the first thing really is this fabric that we chose. So she chose the fabric from the website when we were having a look, and it's 100% cotton. Now the thing is, when it arrived, it is a narrower piece. I did know that when I was looking at them, but I didn't want to deter her from her choices. And sometimes when you're working with a narrow piece, it's harder to get, obviously, the same amount of pieces out of the length that you would normally if you're used to working with a wider piece of fabric. So that sounds quite obvious, I know, but it does make a huge difference. And it also depends on what size you're making, of course. So that was the first obstacle. The fabric was narrower than what I'm used to working with, because a lot of them are quite wide these days. They do make them sort of standard, unless you're working with a craft cotton or something like that. So that was the first thing. And then this pattern, she didn't want the longer length, so that eliminated some of the need for excessive amounts of fabric anyway. But we looked at it, and for the sort of view that we wanted, we were looking at coming up for 5 metres, so 4.5 to 5 metres, depending on, you know, the size that you were making. So we didn't want to have to buy all this fabric and then have lots of waste around the edges. Yeah, so one of the first things that I did when I was cutting out was to eliminate some of the need for so much fabric, and that is a really easy thing to do. You'd be amazed at what a little tweak can do in regards to saving you on fabric. So I'm going to show you on a little piece of paper. So imagine that this is one of your pattern pieces. So you can see I've got a crease here. So this is one of my panels for my dress. So this dress is all in panels. So we've got panels coming into the bust here, panels down the front, the back side pieces and the back pieces. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our pieces and in the centre part here, fold them in a little. Now it doesn't have to be much, but you're just taking out an inch here and there in this part. So not from the sides where your markings and your notches and your chalk marks will be, that you have to match up. So if you imagine this is one of the bust pieces that comes into the bust, and then this is one of the pieces that comes into side pieces, like this. You're just pleating into it. Pleat into your piece like this, in this central piece. And if you do this on each piece, you'll be amazed how many more pieces you can get out of it. Now you're taking out a little bit of the fullness, but not a lot, and you're still keeping that shape, so you've still got that flowing shape. So that's one of the things that I did. So that maintained the need for less fabric. So I was already aware of these ideas before I ordered the fabric, because I hate to waste it, and I have enough waste already with making samples and things, so I don't want to be adding to that. And then the next thing, so on this particular pattern, the shoulders, they gather into a casing, and then also here at the sleeves we have a band. Now I know, because we've talked about this before, that she doesn't like things tight around her arms here, and I know she like the elastic here going into the casing. The sleeves are also really fabric intensive, so they're a really big piece that gathers up quite a lot, the shape, a big balloon shape, even for the short ones. And because of trying to get this out of a smaller amount of fabric, there wasn't a huge piece left to do 2 huge sleeves. What I've done with these is I've cut them so the direction of the print is still going the right way, but I've added a panel either side, front and back, so that it didn't have to be in one continuous piece. I've traced off the shape but made it smaller so that it's not as full. So that's something that I did first. And then, as I say, I've cut it in 3 pieces. So we've got a central piece, we have a piece at the front, a piece at the back. They join with a seam here, but you can't see that because the fabric is so fussy in the print. I've just measured around her upper arm to get the right distance here for this band. Then I've cut the band when we did a try on and checked that it did fit comfortably around her arm, and that if she held her arm up and everything, it would still be fine. And then I've pinned that before making the final width for those. And then here, what I did was I just cut 2 strips and I made 2 shoulder straps. Again, we tried them on at the try on stage, and I fastened those to the dress when she tried it on before I ever even attached the sleeve and made them up. So we tried this. I just slipped the sleeve over her arm just to try it, and then, like I say, I measured the band around her arm. So a lot of trial and error with this, but this turned out really well, and I hope that she's going to get lots of wear out of it. Something else that I modified on was to bring the buttons close together, and I've added more down the front because we don't want any gape here, and she has found in the past that some dresses gape even though they fit everywhere else. So we've made the buttons closer together to get rid of that problem. So that's something we've done there. I've adjusted all the panels in the same way that I said, taking out a little of the fullness in the skirt. The pockets I didn't have enough fabric for, so I've done them in a plain colour, but the back piece that shows sometimes, I've just faced it with a little of the print fabric here, just so that if any's showing, it is the print that's showing and not the plain navy colour. So that's that. Anything else? Oh yes, when we got all the pieces attached together, and I did put the buttons on so she could fasten it up, but we didn't have the straps in their final position or the sleeves on yet. We tried it on, and then I just made all the adjustments to the panels by just pinning it all the way around so that it fitted to her body exactly where it should be, and then I turned it to the inside after and just marked with chalk where all my pins touched, all on the inside, so that I could see where my new seam lines would need to be. So I had temporary seams in place because I cut all the pieces for the panels out bigger, because obviously my pattern was already cut to a smaller size. I cut them all out bigger, allowing a little extra so that it would rather be too big than too small when she tried it on. And then, as I said, marked with pins and again with chalk on the inside. And then I finished off my seams and edge finished them. So I'll give you a proper look at it now. I can't show you it on her because obviously she's not here, and also I don't want to be asking people to be on YouTube if they don't want to be. So yeah, I'll show you a proper look at it now, and I hope you like it. I'm really pleased with it. I hope she's going to love it. I know she's going on holiday next week, so yeah. So here is the finished dress. So it's just pulled in with a belt at the moment. So I have made the belt to go with it. No buckle on this one, she just wanted a tie belt. I think it hangs really nicely. I quite like the extra buttons on it. The neckline's got a really nice shape. Oh, also I've faced with bind, not this part is faced properly how it should be in the pattern, but the rest of it, the rest of the way around, I'll show you at the back, along here and all along the inside under the arm is faced with binding as well. This at the back, we brought these straps in just a little more to the centre, just because we found that covers the bra strap better, because that was another thing, we wanted to make sure we covered the bra strap fully. I know not all summer dresses do, so we brought these straps in sort of at an angle like this, because that just helps them cover the bra strap at the back. Well, I hope that all made sense and wasn't too long and rambling for you. I thought I'd just share a few of those tips because I thought they might be helpful if you're trying to cut down on your use of fabric and also remake patterns that you've perhaps already cut and you're wondering how you can make them fit. And if you've got any questions, please do ask in the comments below. I know sometimes I find it's hard to explain exactly what I've done, especially when a lot of it is sort of a work in progress and I'm working on it as I go along, because I know what I want to do. But sometimes I think I'm explaining it in a really easy way, and then maybe if you've never done it before, it sounds a lot more complicated than I found it. So please do ask if you're not sure about anything that I've just explained. So that's all from me for today. I will be back soon, and thank you so much for watching today. Bye for now.